Hi there, Gemini. This is your monthly forecast for the month of February. It's great to see everyone again, and you know I like to begin every reading with a little bit of channeled information. I arrive at that while I'm looking at the cards and meditating on your sign. The main message this month is to pay attention to how you nourish your mind, body, and spirit. That goes across the spectrum from what you're kind of ingesting as far as food and diet goes, making sure that you're avoiding toxicity whenever possible, so limiting alcohol, sugar, and any sort of processed foods, really trying to stick with things that are clean and kind to your body. Also paying attention to what you surround yourself with, the environment, how clean is it, how clear is it, how uncluttered is it, paying attention to making sure that if there's anything around you that sort of either reminds you of something that you don't want or have moved past, that you maybe look at recycling it, selling it, giving it away, making room for something better in your life. And the third piece of that is also who you surround yourself with and what you listen to, what you're watching. Making sure that all of this is sort of reinforcing positive energy and positive frequencies. So if there's someone in your life that sort of is constantly putting out negativity or toxic thoughts, it's a good month to distance yourself from them. It's a good thing in general to sort of distance yourself from those types of people as well. And if there's anything in sort of like music, television, I would say even written material that is also kind of bringing you into a lower place, try to focus on the positive. Try to figure out how to be productive, proactive, and work towards a resolution and something that is achievable rather than focusing maybe on what hasn't worked in the past. So when you nourish your mind, body, and spirit, you allow yourself to grow, you raise your frequency, you raise the frequency of the people around you. And this month, that's going to be what creates power and opportunity in your life. So whenever it's possible to let go of things that aren't feeding you in a positive way, and also where there's not a reciprocated sort of energy where you give and then you receive, and it's a sort of back and forth thing where both sides are symbiotic rather than one side pulling and the other side just taking. That's really important. So a symbiotic, sort of balanced, nourishing relationship on both sides, whether it's how you're spending your time, energy, or money, that's going to be super important now. And I think it's a message that can really span across the entire year for you. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards. I'm going to pull the camera down and really select all of the cards first instead of going up and down all the time. I think you're going to like that. And let's go ahead and take a look at the messages for this month. All right, we'll begin with past, present, and future influences, and I'll put that along the center. As always, I also like to take a look at a catalyst card that connects everything. I'll be putting this at the top of the spread. Functions much like a crowning card, affecting and connecting everything beneath it. And now we will pull some cards here for health, wealth, love, and destiny. So allow me to do this, and then I will rejoin you after I've pulled all the cards. Okay, you get 2 for that. All right, let's go ahead now and look at each message one by one. At the top of the spread, crowning everything, we have the Catalyst card. This Catalyst card is a connective thread, which is why I put it at the top of the pyramid spread that I'm doing. And what it indicates for you is what you can do to maximize both the channeled message and everything that follows. So we have a tree card. It was in reverse, roots up. And so really what it's kind of highlighting is a need to focus on that first chakra, which is all about security and safety and grounding yourself to things that are important, grounding yourself to the earth plane. If you've never tried this before, it's actually great to use a tree as a meditation visualization while you're trying to ground yourself. You can feel the energy of what it would be like to be a tree, planting your roots in the ground, feeling connected so that you could weather any storm, reaching your branches towards Father Sky and allowing for a connection to the light, to the other elements so that you could feed yourself. Trees are majestic, they're ancient, they're strong, and it's a great symbol for meditation and grounding meditation especially. The tree also, for me, symbolizes familial connections, friends, literal blood connections in your life, marriages, etc. Anything where it's intimate, close friends. There could be a little bit of an upheaval or something that's going on this month that could set that normally maybe balanced situation out of balance. What's important for you this month is to make sure that you do what's necessary to stay centered and be of assistance where you can, but not give so much that you also lose your balance. You always want to stay firmly planted in what's important and don't let somebody pull you so far to one direction that either your integrity, your balance, or your sort of sense of energy is kind of collapsing. So grounding will be important, meditation will be important, putting up limits are also going to be important. Let's go ahead now and move along to past, present, and future influences for this month. That's going to help illustrate blessings and blocks that are coming towards you. Starting with the past, here we have the Seven of Wands. And as I'm looking at this card, what it's really reminding you to do is not to be on the defensive, to pick and choose what's important to you, to advocate for things that really matter, but not to get sort of pulled in every single direction. This is an interesting illustration because we actually see that connection to the tree, right? Both of these have that sort of, like she has branches coming out of her head, and both of these cards were reversed. I think those branches are indicating where you can put your thought energy this month. You know, the traditional Rider-Waite card shows people in front of a single character who's kind of holding that branch and deciding where to put their time and energy, how to balance all of this stuff, where to delegate. I think the same holds true for how you sort of manage your thoughts. And it's almost encouraging to kind of triage the energy. There may be more in front of you than you really want or need to put your time and energy into. So pick one or two things that matter the most. And if you find yourself this month maybe thinking about someone or something more than you would like, that grounding meditation that I talked about, I think will help quite a bit. And then trying to take the energy and put it into something that you can control, that's going to be key. So if you're feeling out of control in one area and you can't really make the difference that you want, find a place in your life where you can make a difference, hopefully one that is going to empower you, so that in the future you can lean on this new thing that you've built as a new way to get ahead. So don't go in a direction where you're just sort of like, if you've ever driven a car and it's kind of like in the mud and it just keeps moving, at a certain point you have to stop because all you're doing is making the hole deeper. And so I think in this case, if you're continuing to sort of work in an area and you're not getting what you need, change the channel. There's a lot of opportunities in front of you. Change the mental channel and then either delegate some of that work to someone else that isn't really maybe well suited for you, and reposition yourself as being able to do something. And that's going to on two levels. It'll feel better, but it's also going to shift your energy into the productive state of mind. And once I see that happening for you, then we have the Three of Cups. All of your past, present, future cards are reversed this month. That's not a big deal. We're only looking at 3 here. But what it does mean is that everything you have to look at, it's going to require a little bit more work. And there are some things that could stand in the way if you're not sort of paying attention here. 3 of Cups, by and large, is a good card. What I'm seeing with this is that when it comes to being able to make things happen this month, group activities are necessary. So if you're trying to finish something at work, you're going to have to work in a team to get this done. If you're trying to meet someone that you want to either like go out on a date with, or maybe for a business meeting or whatever, I see that as being connected to a group that you already know, and you're going to have to navigate that group. And for those of you that are a little bit more of a private person, for me, this card can show sort of a very gentle hermit energy coming through, and it's saying it's important to get out right now. So I would say to overcome your tendency to not work with others or to be too private this month, because there's going to be a lot of things that are gained through that cooperative energy. And the only thing to be careful of with 3 of Cups in its reverse state, you want to stay clear of anyone around you that might be gossiping. And if we connect that to the Seven of Wands, this is, again, sometimes about getting defensive. This is about things that might be said that are untrue. If there's any rumors going on, you have a couple courses of action here. If it's directly hurting someone you know and you know that it's false and you can prove that, then of course that's maybe something that's worth your time and energy. If it's just gossip and you don't want to get involved in it, the best course of action would be just to move towards something productive. So pick and choose the battles wisely. Don't partake in gossip. Assume this month that everything you say and write is going to be shared with people that you are saying and writing this stuff about. So only speak the truth, only act with the integrity and truth. And in doing so, there's really not going to be anything that you are going to regret. But conversely, if you have said something and maybe you've watched this late, then just do your best to be honest with yourself and with others, because it can and it will sort of get out there. So not a month to gossip. Stay clear, stay focused, and move yourself away from that. When we look at what's possible this month, looking at the future, we have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is a fantastic card for developing ideas, for really kind of standing up for yourself and creating a new vision in your life, or having people see you in a different way. It's a good card for development. The reverse state of this card, I should say, is showing that there's a general note for you to remain open to new ways of doing things, constructive criticism that may come your way, and also knowing that you might have to massage things a little bit because others may be closed off this month. So the exchange of ideas and communication this month, it's going to require sometimes for you to just be a listener and to simply say, I hear you and I'll think about that. You don't have to reject something outright. You don't have to agree with something outright. And if someone else tries to shut you down, say, I'm not trying to change your mind. I just want you to explore this way of thinking. And as long as you've heard me, that's all that I was trying to do. So both ways, flexibility is going to be important. And if we look at the three cards together, Seven of Wands, Three of Cups, Ace of Wands. In the upright position, they would indicate you can handle what's put in front of you. You can work well in a team. There might even be something worth celebrating this month. And you're going to be able to bring something to its completion at the end of the month. The reversal is saying that if you get too defensive, if there's anything pertaining to gossip or lower frequency communications, and you're not open-minded, then the converse is true. So you kind of have a fork in the road this month, and that's what the reversals were stating. And of course, choose higher. It's always the better road here, and there's so much good to be gained by this. It could be difficult this month in relationships because we have the Three of Cups straddled between those two cards. And so what that's showing is communication may be a little bit difficult. For some of you, it might be difficult to spend time with your partner. You might be torn in one direction, maybe work, maybe other activities, and what's missing is that intimacy, that together time. So trying to strike a balance is important. And the Three of Cups in reverse too is showing just dating this month could be tricky. So be as honest as possible with your partners and know that I'm not necessarily seeing for those of you that might be single or newly dating someone, this isn't the month to settle down. It seems like it's more of a fluid month where you get to know someone. And if you're in a relationship, make sure that, like I said, communication is open and that you're speaking from the heart. Let's expand the forecast now, and we'll get a little bit more insight as we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Starting with health, which is an all-encompassing card. It's your mind, it's your body, it's your spirit, and it's nicely illustrated as such here. So on a physical level, it's really important for you to take time to just allow for not just breath work, but I would say some peace and quiet. It's interesting. Have you ever paid attention when you're talking to someone, or if you see someone that's stressed out, that they take a deep breath, a sigh? Sometimes it can sort of be a stressed out sigh, like, and you can tell they're not really connecting to what you think. Sometimes they're just a little bit tired, or you might be tired and just be like, there's different types of sighs, right? But we breathe all the time, and sometimes we don't even think about how that breathing is allowing us to get rid of the energy, and sometimes non-verbally tell someone, this is too much, I can't take it, and I'm pushing you back with my breath a little bit. On a more productive and proactive level, yoga and exercise are going to be a necessary and a sort of complementary component to successfully navigating some of those tricky things that we saw in past, present, and future influences this month. So I would say start every day off with a little bit of activity. I'm fortunate enough to have a cute little dog sitting here, but he gets me out on about 3 to 5 walks a day minimum, sometimes more, and that really helps my energy between readings and just in general. But I would say it would be important for you to at least take the same sort of break, 3 to 5 breaks a day, and they could be 3 to 5 minutes. You know, a lot of you are in desk jobs and you can't afford to take long breaks, but you usually can take time to make a cup of tea or coffee or water, or just walk around the office and get something at a different printer. Even something like that will make a big difference. And as you're walking, take some deep breaths, change your posture, change your kind of way of thinking. And if you can walk across the street for lunch, or if you can walk outside the building for a second and then come back in, notice how that really changes things for you. I can't remember which sign I said it in, or if I did it last month in the sort of general reading for everyone, but one of my favorite lines in Pride and Prejudice is when one of the sisters is getting, or cousins is getting the main character to walk around the room. She's like, let's take a turn about the room. You know, doesn't it change your point of view? And Eliza's sort of saying, well, I guess it's an accomplishment of sorts, but actually it really is an accomplishment. And even though it was kind of used humorously there, I would say being able to pick yourself up from one environment and take it to another, it's really, really important. Do that this month. And especially if you have to have a heart-to-heart or tricky conversation, get your mind in a clear state before you do that. So breathing from a health perspective, meditating and breathing, of course, and just some exercise, light exercise to get your heart beating and your breath working, knowing that breath is the component that moves energy. It's really powerful. All right, let's look at your wealth, money, and opportunity this month. This is a month for things to change. So if it's been in a place where it's uncomfortable, it's going to either you'll have a little bit of a breakthrough or an opening this month. If you've been in a place where there's stagnant energy, again, opening. If you've been in a place where it's been good, there might be a chance to take it to something even better. Or if you're not careful, there might be sort of a slip. So try to maximize the shifting energy this month and use it to transform in a positive way things that you want to sort of change this month. So transformation is key. Try to make it good transformation. When we're looking at relationships this month in love, we have clairvoyance. What's great about this, especially if you're intuitive or developing like most of you are, it's the ability to read between the lines, figuratively speaking. So when someone's speaking, you're going to know if they're really communicating from the heart or if there's something else that's going on. You might also be seeing things that are going on from sort of like a 365 point of view. You know if someone is trying to really help you or if there's some behind the scenes stuff. Pay attention to that. Work to be as honest as possible, and to, if you're not feeling honesty, integrity, or just a real connection with someone, to, again, thinking of that Seven of Wands card, to push your energy in another direction. I think that's going to be the best possible thing. But on a different level, speak from the heart, speak from the third eye, really letting people know who you are, always being as transparent, as honest as possible. That's what's going to be best in relationships. In your destiny position, you have 2 cards. They were both reversed, but I'm going to read them upright. The first one says, instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good for all. And this is really challenging you to like separate yourself from ego. Just assume that all that is happening around you is happening for the highest good. And if something isn't, then it's going to kind of like fall out of what's possible for you or for others. So trust in the general organization of the universe to try to help everybody, and know that it's working for you and not against you. And then the other thing is energy flows where my intention goes. And that's really hearkening back to the Seven of Wands card. It's important for you to know what you want. So if you know what you want, the universe can show up for you. If you're too scattered, then it takes longer to get things completed that you want to get completed, and it can just be sort of challenging and frustrating for you. So really focus on kind of homing in on what you need and allow the universe to set that up for you as well. Let's go ahead now and review all of the high-level messages that came through, starting with the channeled information, which had to do with what you're putting into your body, how you're nourishing yourself in mind, body, and spirit. As we look at the catalyst card for this month, we have the tree card in reverse, which is really speaking to staying grounded. And I think this also connects to the very last card that we saw here, which was energy flows where my intention goes. So the more grounded and the more sort of purposeful you are in your intentions, in your energy, the more the universe can show up for you, and the less a lot of the other things are going to get in the way of that. The things that could get in the way this month, looking at the reverse state, are you possibly getting too defensive or fighting battles that really aren't your own, you potentially getting involved in conversations that don't pertain to you, and not remaining open. The reverse is true. If you decide to spend your energy again in things that make sense, if you work as a team, and if you focus on staying open and also helping others see things from a point of view that isn't too pushy, it's just kind of showing where they can go with this, then I think that you're going to be headed in a great direction. So like I said, there's a fork in the road. Take that higher fork and know that it's going to bring you to a place of happiness. Remembering the power of breath in all forms, as we talked about when it comes to health, that changes are possible with your money. Try to transform them in a positive way this month. Trusting what you feel and see and reading between the lines when it comes to relationships, using that to your advantage and helping people walk a higher path. That's something that seems to be a common thread for you. And then this month, two things came through for your outcome, for your destiny. And that was, one, to trust in the higher good, the higher organization of everything. And most importantly, because it was the last card that I pulled, focusing on your energy, on where you're knowing that energy goes where your intention goes. So really stay focused on what you're trying to achieve. Allow that to be the grounding force this month, and know that your thoughts, your energy, and your opportunities will flow from that. So this brings our monthly reading to a close, but if there's ever something that comes around in your life, whether it's a challenge, an opportunity, or something else that you want to look at and you'd like to talk to me, you can check out my rates and availability by clicking on the first link. If you'd like to just give back in a small way to this channel, as little as $1, a way to do that is through the second link, and I'll put the information here at the bottom. You can join me on Patreon, and you can also do a one-time donation if you'd like to on my website. Knowing that, again, even $1 over the course of the whole year or $1 a month, that makes everything that you see here possible. So please, if you are called to do that, and know that I appreciate it. Otherwise, what you can also do to support this channel is to simply like and subscribe to this video, to the channel, and also to share what you see here with people in your life that you'd like to share it with. You can do that through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I also have a newsletter, so if you'd like to join me on any and all of those networks, click on the third link and it will take you to my website. So with that being said, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for doing this work on yourself. I think the big thing to focus on this month is that you have the power to redirect energy, allow your thoughts to be in an elevated space, and to go in the direction that is going to be best for you, best for others, and help you accomplish your dreams. Much love and light to you now and always. I'll see you soon.